What is up? Welcome to the episode. Today we are going to be chatting about leaky gut, which is a term that you've likely heard of. However, I want to explain it for you in super understandable terms, and then if you think that it's something that you're dealing with, exactly how to remedy it. Now, in my opinion, when we're talking about optimal health, digestion and overall gut function is the first whistle stop. And the reason that I say that is because the vast majority of inflammation, or lack thereof, stems from our stomachs. Our gut also hosts the highest density of immune cells in our entire bodies. And so basically what I'm saying is your stomach matters a lot. Now, this is a really interesting thing to think about. Your digestive tract is in your body, but it's sort of not at the same time. Because when you eat something, it goes into your mouth, down your esophagus, to your stomach, small intestine, followed by the large intestine, and then the rectum, and you poop it out. So your digestive tract is actually separated from the rest of your body. It's like a tube running from your mouth to your anus, and the only things that are meant to get beyond that tube or gut barrier are nutrients, water, and electrolytes. Unfortunately, when you've got leaky gut, or in sciencey terms, intestinal permeability, you have things that are getting into circulation that aren't meant to be there. So when it comes to leaky gut, you essentially have a puncture in that tube that is running through your body, the digestive tract, and the contents of that tube are leaking. That's no bueno. You can think about it like your skin. One of the primary reasons that we have skin is to separate our internal bodies from the external world. But when we get cut, we are much more likely to get, say, infections, for example. The question that I'm sure that you're wondering is, what causes these punctures? And the answer is eating foods that your body doesn't tolerate and you don't digest well. It turns out that the digestive tract and the stomach get irritated by foods that we don't tolerate, and they create these punctures, or more accurately, they release certain substances that open up things called tight junctions. And these tight junctions that are meant to be closed are now open, and things get into areas that they're not meant to get into. Now, when these substances, which are essentially food particles, leak into circulation, the immune system comes to the rescue because the body is incredible and unbelievably intelligent. And it's like, ooh, that's a foreign substance. What's that doing here? We better address it, which it does. The kicker is, the immune system gets a little bit confused because it's like, what the hell is that stuff doing over here? So as your immune system is dealing with these foreign substances that have gotten into circulation, it also attacks quote unquote non-foreign substances, which happen to be healthy cells in your body. You can think about it like antibiotics. Antibiotics do not decipher between healthy bacteria and unhealthy bacteria. They're like bombs. They're far from precise, and so they just destroy everything, the good stuff and the bad stuff. Same idea here. The immune system isn't distinguishing between harmful cells and helpful cells in the case of leaky gut. For example, when I eat too much gluten, it irritates my stomach. It leads to leaky gut or intestinal permeability, and then my immune system attacks the substances that aren't meant to be in circulation, but it also attacks my skin, and I get eczema flare-ups. Here is where the individuality kicks in. For you, it might be, say, dairy that flares up your skin, or perhaps your joints, or maybe it attacks the cells in your eyes, and your vision begins to deteriorate. Or you have multiple sclerosis and the immune system begins to attack your nerve cells. Or maybe it's rheumatoid arthritis and your joints are impacted. And the list goes on. Enter whatever ailment that you're experiencing here. The specific symptoms and manifestations of dis-ease depend on the person. However, the root of the issue is the same. It's leaky gut via nutrition. Now, instead of addressing diet, quite often folks just get prescribed drugs by their doctors to suppress this immune response that's leading to these skin, joint, eye, etc. issues. But as you know, there is no free lunch, especially in biology. And so when you take these drugs that suppress the immune system, it may reduce symptoms for a short period of time. However, you don't address what's actually causing the immune system to overreact. It's not like your body or immune system is drug deficient, right? We've been surviving for millions of years without these drugs. That ain't it. It's the underlying input, diet, which is leading to leaky gut, which is then causing an immune reaction to things that are getting into circulation that aren't meant to be there. So it's improper diet followed by leaky gut and then an immune response. That is the order of things. So what can you do? The most important thing is to prioritize your digestion. And the two most common offenders for most folks are gluten and dairy. So if you're keen on figuring this stuff out, you may choose to cut out gluten and dairy for say 10 to 14 days. Track your digestion, what symptoms you were experiencing prior, as well as classic signs of inflammation like swollen eyes, hands, feet, bloating, diarrhea, constipation, etc. Now, your issues may clear up super quickly, which is great. However, you don't actually know whether it was gluten or dairy or both at this point. So then you can reintroduce one or the other, test it, and then adjust accordingly. If you feel better without gluten and or dairy, but your digestion still isn't 100%, and perhaps your skin is better but not quite healed, or your joints are improved, but you still have room for improvement, then you're going to have to dig a little bit deeper. And this is more nuanced stuff that I work with my one-on-one clients on. For example, some folks have issues with FODMAP foods, which are fermentable carbohydrates. Some people have issues with oxalates, which are chemicals found in certain foods. Other folks don't do all that well with high histamine containing food options. It varies and it's super individual once you pass that initial gluten, dairy experimental phase. However, testing with gluten and dairy at first is a great way to kick things off, and you can totally have fun with this. You can be like a scientist and experiment with your own body and get more and more in tune with it to see what it likes and what it doesn't like. A common question that pops up is, if I find out the foods that I'm sensitive to, does that mean that I can never eat them again? Not necessarily, because you can heal your leaky gut, and then it's entirely possible that once you're fully healthy again, that you can tolerate a much wider variety of foods, which is awesome, right? How long does this healing process take? That depends on two main factors. The first one is how severe your leaky gut is, and then secondly, how diligent you are with this elimination and reintroduction process. But I want to mention, it doesn't have to be this daunting task. It's all about perspective, and curiosity is an amazing tool to guide you through this process. Like, what can I learn about my body today? This incredible skin suit of cells that allows me to have all of these amazing experiences and asks for so little in return, just that you take care of it. One could argue that we're essentially renting our bodies, right? Personally, I believe that we are spirits having a human experience versus humans having a spiritual experience. However, that's just my personal take on it. But if we are spirits having this human experience, we're renting our bodies for say 80, 90, 100 plus years, and that's it. Here's a cool question for you. If your body could talk, what would it tell you? What would it ask you for? How can you provide for it in a better way? What are you doing well? Keep doing those things. And where is there room for improvement? Be a scientist, get curious, and I promise you that this process will not only not be a burden, it will be fun. And best of all, it will be incredibly rewarding because once you do your due diligence and figure out what your body likes and doesn't like, you get to reap all of the benefits in regards to fat loss, sense of well-being, mental health, mood and emotional stability, confidence, self-esteem, all the goodies. Yes, it requires work, but man, it is so worth it in my opinion. And the truth is, you can step into your power at any point. Right now, in fact, you can feel as good as you want to feel. Thriving is your birthright. If you're interested in applying for one-on-one nutritional coaching and or workout design with me, you can click the link in the description below or head on over to n1fitness.com/coaching. On Instagram, I'm at N1Fitness. On TikTok, I'm at the N1Fitness. And on YouTube, I'm at Marcus Sadu. Don't forget to leave us a 5-star review on your favorite podcast platform. And lastly, be sure to hit the subscribe button. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope that you found this episode useful, and I will catch you on the next one. See ya.